Casted Crowns Inc. According to the analytics, majority of our viewers of our content are between the ages of 18 and 24, which is typically a large base when it comes to social media anyway. But for us, a large majority is between the ages of 18 to 24, and the overwhelming majority are males. When it comes down to the other groups in higher ages, it's females. But all in all, males 18 to 24. But I appreciate the fact that it's you guys between the ages of 18 to 24. And that's because for almost 2 decades, I myself have been in education. And I've been in education dealing with general ed and special ed, dealing with grades K through 12. And if you know anything about grades K through 12, that's kindergarten to 12th grade. But that's the overwhelming majority of your school career. Anything after 12th grade is basically voluntary. It's not so much mandatory by the state, but it's so much voluntary. Certain households, the way how they raise their children, college is pretty much mandatory. But all in all, once you reach that age of 18, you can go on, you can work, you can get into a trade, you can find yourself a specialty school, you can find yourself a career, you can move on with your family's business, whatever the case may be. However, with that being said, because of the fact that it's 18 to 24, that means that the very same students who I was able to impact from the grades and the ages that will come about from K through 12, I'm now able to impact them again. And that's without the bureaucracy of the state. That's without the yellow tape, right? So that means that same positive influence that you had throughout your whole young adulthood, your whole childhood, is now getting back to you. And it's organic. It's organic because of the sincerity of the message that's being put out there. They're gravitating to it, right? It's a beacon of sincerity. And these young men between the ages of 18 to 24, they're gravitating to it. Now, I'm going to say this, because when you're involved in education, if you're involved in education, especially for over 10 years, it's almost like you can predict the future. Reason being is because you see the trends when they start to build up. You see the impact and the effects. And you know what it is that I saw? I saw how parents were screwing their kids over time and time again. It didn't matter the city. It didn't matter the state. That's what it is that I saw. I saw how parents were giving their kids over to the state, how parents were giving the state jurisdiction over their children willfully, even down to special ed, having their children be identified as a child who requires a special ed service just for the benefits. And the sad reality of it is that the overwhelming majority of the parents who were doing this were the mothers. Hands down, period. The overwhelming majority of them were the mothers. And then another sad, sick, disgusting thing was that a good amount of the fathers, if you got in communication with them regarding their daughters, they didn't do a damn thing about it. Not a damn thing. They wouldn't do anything. The mothers would try their best to excuse their sons in every way, shape, or form for everything they did. And the fathers regarding their daughters, they wouldn't do anything. They would barely even budge, right? So this is what it is that you see now. You see the effects of it. And what's so sickening of these parents now who pop up and they want to justify and celebrate and say, oh, it's always the other parent's fault and I'm a single this and blah, 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 blah. Shut the hell up. Because the sad part about it is that not one of you guys considered your children when you was making these decisions. All you did was consider yourselves. That's all you did. All you did was do what it was that you did for some form of benefit. Whether it's some form of financial benefit because your child supposedly was supposed to get some service you were not seeing that they got, or there was some form of service through the system. That's all you was doing. Pimping your own kids, exploiting your own kids. So the same way how people can watch a little girl, and she's 5 and she's 3, and her parents are putting so much makeup on her and forcing her to go out there and dress like this and look like that, and the girl look like she can't even smile because if she was to smile, her face would crack from all of the makeup just blown on her face. The same way how you would see that and be like, damn, look what they doing to their kids. Or the same way how you would see the child actor, and then once this child becomes an adult, they speak about how their parents was doing them so wrong and taking their money and everything else. That's the same thing that's going on in these systems. Whether it's the educational system or whether it's the family system, which is not promoting or advocating for the family. All in all, that's what it is that's happening. A heavy population of parents are doing this over and over again. And now these same parents that's gotten of age, they've gotten to a next generation. Their children are of a certain generation now. Their children are young adults, and they turning around and blaming the opposite sex. So the women are blaming the men, and the men are blaming the women. No, you've been forsaken. What did you expect to happen? That's why Casted Crowns, Inc., we are so appreciative over the fact that these young men are checking in, because we know what it is that we're doing. And we're looking for families. We advocate for families. And don't forget, a family is a father, a mother, and those children. That's the family. That will never, ever go away, because a man cannot have children without that woman. And a woman cannot have children without that man. So if it started that way, it's your responsibility that it finishes that way. And I'm not necessarily concerned with what it is people have to say about the parent that we don't hear from, because just because we hear from you, that doesn't make you right. And if your children are in the system, that says it all right there. So we don't need to actually hear from you, because all you're looking for is to skew the pot. That's what you're doing, skew the pot of negativity. You're not telling people how to learn from their mistakes. You're not telling people how to look. Ladies, I want to tell y'all what's the signs y'all need to look out for and this and that. You're not telling them how to correct their mistakes or how to have better judgment. You're not empowering these women with a damn thing. All you're doing is surrounding yourself with a following of a bunch of bitter damn people who don't want to do good with nothing. That's what you're following yourself with, and lying to them. Telling them stuff like Russell Wilson is giving women hope. No, he's not, because Russell Wilson is married to Ciara. These women are not Ciara. These women are who they are. So if you realize that at this particular point in your life, you need to get something better than what your life was, then you also realize that you've got to do better. So you got to do better, to get better, to earn better. And then who's the ones who benefit from that? Your children do. So definitely much respect to all of you guys. Continue to follow. We're going to get to you guys, not just through the phones, not just through the TVs, not just through the tablets, not just through the devices, but we're going to get to you guys face to face. Casted Crowns, Inc.